Skill-based matchmaking reshaped for Modern Warfare 2. It is an understatement to say that SBMM, or skill-based matchmaking, is a hot topic here in the Call of Duty community and really has been in kind of the main focus ever since Modern Warfare 2019 launched. And today we have got some leaked information on how it's going to be working in the new Modern Warfare 2 game. This by Valve, which is a very credible leaker. He has leaked a bunch of stuff in the past, giving us little insights on things coming up. Almost all of it has been accurate. This entire article is going to be linked below. We're going to read through everything and kind of what you can expect in Modern Warfare 2 as it pertains to skill-based matchmaking. And there's actually some pretty interesting stuff in here. We've got the potential of bots being in public lobbies, kind of like we see with COD Mobile. And we've also got disbanding of lobbies to kind of stop reverse boosting. And they're kind of doing things potentially a little bit different. And these kind of come from developers and what they've said. Nothing of in here is actually official, but this gives us a little bit of an insight of what we can expect in Modern Warfare 2 launching later this year. As it pertains to skill-based matchmaking, SBMM has become a hotbed of discussion over the last few years. It continues to be a source of concern amongst the fan of the franchise. Activision has since sought out an improvement to the SBMM framework, assigning a subsidiary studio, Demonware, with curating and refining the system. An associate close to Call of Duty describes skill-based matchmaking as complicated but pragmatic. We're always looking on ways of improving every facet that contributes to a product's success. That initiative, skill-based matchmaking, is one of those things. It's really a matter of trial and error. Skill-based matchmaking plays an important role in sustaining a thriving player base. With Vanguard failing to meet expectations, Activision has had the chance of wiping the slate clean and reviewing the system in its place. A collective R&D, research and development effort from several studios contributing towards creating a liberal yet sensible system, a system that accommodates all brackets of skill, high and low. An associate briefly mentioned that the new framework would be less debilitating for a better margin of players instead of penalizing them, while allowing for a protected bracket to coexist for lower skilled players. So coming from the first part of this article, which we just read off, we didn't get a whole lot of new information. All they really said is with the downtime they had with Vanguard, they took a step back, looked at skill-based matchmaking, and try to find ways they can make it less debilitating and noticeable for the people at the higher end of the skill-based matchmaking tree, but at the same time still offering that layer of protection slash replayability they have for the people at the lower end of the skill-based matchmaking tree. This really isn't new information. They're constantly doing this every single year. If you played Modern Warfare 2019, played Cold War, and played Vanguard MP, you know between all of them, the skill-based matchmaking played very, very differently. In Modern Warfare 2019, it was pretty noticeable, whereas in Cold War, it was very noticeable. Some of the strongest skill-based matchmaking we've had in a long time. And in Vanguard, it seemed to take more of a step back approach once again. But if you played those games, you noticed it was very different, and it wasn't the same systems in place for each and every one. Now, right here is where things start to get really interesting. Matchmaking bot pools. With the breakdown of the skill-based matchmaking system, there are alleged plans to incorporate bot pools, PvE/PvE, for the new DMZ mode and Warzone 2, on the condition that if player statistics are eligible to enter these lobbies. With an overhaul in AI, they'll be able to track a player's level of skill throughout a match, leveling and countering smurfs, or outright removing player from the matches. With Call of Duty's newly integrated bot pools, an associate asserted this particular system would cater to a specific subsection of players in mind, the handicapped, one of the mainly accessibility options to be introduced, assuring that as many fans as possible have the chance of experiencing something that may have previously been unplayable to them. So from what it looks like, they're actually looking into the idea of adding bots into public matches in COD. This really isn't something we've seen in an official main series game before. I know Black Ops 2 had like a training mode that was technically online. However, you got like a heavily reduced amount of XP, and I don't think camos tracked in that mode either. And then in COD Mobile, there obviously is bots on the online, but it's not meant for skill-based matchmaking purposes. The bots in COD Mobile are for whenever there's not enough players to fill up a match. They put bots in it so the game's able to start regardless. However, this is going to be bots and bot pools specifically for the purpose to kind of tune and, you know, do different things with SBMM. In the very bottom levels of skill-based matchmaking, they're thinking about adding bots kind of to help out handicapped, or like the very lower level of SBMM players. And there's also going to be countermeasures. As it states here, with the overhaul in AI, they'll be able to track a player's level of skill throughout a match, leveling and countering smurfs or reverse boosters, or outright removing players from the matches. So with this new version of SBMM they're thinking about adding, it would be able to track your level of skill during the match. So even if you were able to get in these lower skill leveled lobbies, the bot lobbies that they're planning on making via reverse boosting or other kind of matchmaking tactics, it would be able to deploy countermeasures in game, whether that making the bots aim and target you more often or straight up kicking you from the match. Because I mean, every game there's been this thing in Modern Warfare 2019, Cold War, and Vanguard. There have been ways that people have been able to get in these like lower level skill lobbies via reverse boosting or from like session joining off of bot accounts. But yeah, it looks like they're trying to find ways to have countermeasures for that, which might end up just straight up kicking you out of the game. So that's going to be very interesting. I kind of want to see how bots end up working. One thing to note is it didn't say this was going to be for normal MP matchmaking. It said for the new DMZ mode and for Warzone 2. So this DMZ mode is going to be the replacement for zombies. It's going to be kind of an escape from Tarkov style mode, which makes sense to have bots in this. However, as of right now in Warzone 1, there are no bots. There's no bot lobbies. All the players you're interacting with are normal players. But yeah, it looks like maybe for Warzone 2, and this might make its way into MP, which is interesting, and I kind of want to keep an eye on this and see how this plays out. And now for the final topic in this article, something else that's extremely hot in Call of Duty land: disbanding lobbies. Disbanding lobbies are supposedly here to stay. An associate emphasized its apparent importance in structuring SBMM as a foundation, plainly stating if it were to be removed, it would collapse. An associate then went on to mention SBMM has only became a topic of discussion internally on the back end of Modern Warfare 2019, where a plan of action then followed soon after. Technically, the teams weren't prepared for Modern Warfare 2019 wild success. The system utilized for that game was placed on full display and it was outdated. It's then been put through the ringer with recent titles, but it's consistently in development and maintenance. So they're saying right here that if they got rid of the disbanding lobbies at the end of games, that SBMM would be collapsed, which I don't really understand this, because if you've been a fan of Call of Duty for a long time, you know that skill-based matchmaking's been around for a long time, and some of the older titles had more SBMM than what we're experiencing now. Modern Warfare or Black Ops 2 is the Call of Duty that I think's had the absolute most amount of SBMM, and in Black Ops 2 the lobbies didn't disband. Like, Black Ops 2 had way more SBMM than Modern Warfare 2019 and Cold War, but Black Ops 2, like, it didn't disband the lobbies at all. And I feel like a lot of people are going to say the point is the player base. The larger the player pool is, the more they're able to kind of mess with SBMM. But today we've got a bigger player pool of players than what we had back in Black Ops 2. One, there's a higher player count in these newer games. And we've got cross-platform. So the Xbox players, the PlayStation players, and the PC players are all in one connected server. So the player pool is even bigger. So I'm not quite sure this argument against disbanding lobbies, unless kind of the structure they have for it now is completely based around disbanding lobbies. But maybe you could structure it around something else, because we've seen it work in the past. Skill-based matchmaking's been in the past games, and it's been in the past games in a bigger effect than what it is now. And on top of that, you didn't have to disband the lobbies. So I guess we're going to see disbanding lobbies in Modern Warfare 2. But I kind of hope we go back to the older system where at the end of each and every game, it didn't disband the lobby and put you in a new lobby. Because some of the fun we had with older COD was kind of building up a team with that. But hey, I guess it is what it is. So that's everything in this article. So it looks like they're taking a step back, re-looking at SBMM for Modern Warfare 2, potentially going to have bot pools in some of the lower end skill-based matchmaking brackets. And it looks like at the end of each and every game, the lobbies are still going to disconnect and you're going to have to find a new lobby. So that's kind of everything we know about SBMM coming later this year in Modern Warfare 2, and probably the structure they're going to be following from this point on in all the future Call of Duties. This article from Rouse Valve, a notable leaker. Keep in mind, none of this is official information, but usually when he talks about it and makes an article about it, it's pretty nail on the head. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here and want to sub, I'd greatly appreciate that. And on top of that, I give a massive thanks to everyone who like, comment, and watch this video in its entirety. I want to give a massive thanks to everyone who's gone above and beyond and became an Unlocked Plus member here on YouTube. We got the GOAT Positive Expert, the most OP Gobblegum ever, Round Robin, the absolute Chad Noah, the most patient man I've ever met, Cody Chapman, and the legend Army Tech Wreck.